There will never be a perfect moment. There will never be a day when you feel fully ready, fully energized, fully confident. And that's exactly why most people stay stuck, because they're waiting for permission that will never come. But not you, not anymore. This isn't just about getting things done. This is about becoming the kind of person who shows up, no matter how you feel, no matter what life throws at you. The kind of person who leads themselves with discipline, not emotion. Because success doesn't belong to the most talented, it belongs to the most consistent. If you've ever struggled to follow through, if you've ever battled with procrastination, if you've ever known what you needed to do but just couldn't push yourself to do it, this message is for you. Because today, we're not going to talk about motivation. We're going to talk about what's stronger than motivation. This is about mental toughness. This is about self-respect. This is about choosing your future over your feelings. And if you stay with me through the end of this video, I promise, something in you will shift. You'll stop waiting. You'll start acting. You'll stop hoping. You'll start becoming. Let's unlock the discipline that's already in you. Let's silence the excuses. Let's force ourselves to rise, one powerful step at a time. Discipline is what separates high achievers from those who merely wish for change. Motivation is fleeting. It's a spark that can ignite the fire, but it doesn't sustain it. Discipline, on the other hand, is the quiet engine that keeps things moving forward, even when the excitement fades. When you rely solely on motivation, your productivity becomes inconsistent, controlled by your moods, your energy levels, or your environment. But when you build the muscle of discipline, you create a foundation that is not shaken by temporary emotions. Motivation might get you to start a project, but it's discipline that carries you through the late nights, the frustrating plateaus, the distractions, and the resistance that shows up when it gets hard. Discipline is about doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's waking up early when every part of you wants to stay in bed. It's finishing the assignment when your mind is tired. It's pushing past that moment of hesitation where most people quit. And every time you do that, every time you override the urge to take the easy route, you reinforce something powerful within yourself. You become a person who follows through, a person who can be trusted, a person who doesn't negotiate with excuses. People often wait for inspiration to strike before taking action, but what they fail to realize is that inspiration is not a prerequisite for success. Action breeds inspiration. Discipline gives you the structure to show up consistently, and in that consistency, momentum builds, and momentum is far more valuable than motivation. It's not always glamorous, but it's where real transformation happens. Discipline is a form of self-respect. It says, I value my goals enough to keep moving, regardless of how I feel today. It's not about being robotic or rigid. It's about having the internal alignment to make choices that serve your highest vision, especially on the days when it's inconvenient. This kind of inner strength doesn't come naturally. It's built rep by rep, habit by habit, decision by decision. The more you lean into it, the stronger it gets. Discipline is not just a tool for productivity. It is a mindset, a value, a way of living that leads to freedom, because when you master discipline, you're no longer a slave to mood, circumstance, or fear. You become the one who decides. Most people wait for clarity before they act. They wait to be certain. They wait to feel prepared. But clarity is not something you wait for. It's something you earn through movement. Action is the fuel that sharpens direction. Sitting still, overthinking, overplanning. These don't lead to confidence. They lead to paralysis. You don't discover what works by thinking about it. You discover what works by trying, by failing, by adjusting, and then trying again. Clarity comes when your hands are dirty, when your feet are moving, when your voice is trembling but still speaking. The path never reveals itself in full at the beginning. You're not supposed to see the whole staircase before you take the first step. Too many people are stuck in delay because they're trying to figure everything out before they begin. They want certainty before commitment, but real growth doesn't happen in certainty. It happens in the unknown, in the stretch, in the risk. Action is what reveals the truth. You learn more in 1 hour of doing than in 10 hours of contemplating. It's only after you begin that you see what you're made of. Action exposes what's real. You'll quickly find out what doesn't work, and more importantly, what does, and that discovery, those small wins and lessons, is what creates momentum. That's how you shift from confusion to clarity. Waiting keeps you in the fog. Moving clears it away. Too often, we idolize certainty and demonize mistakes, when in fact, mistakes are where insight is born. You can read every book, watch every tutorial, listen to every mentor, and still feel unsure. But when you take action, you become your own teacher. Your confidence is no longer borrowed, it's earned. The longer you hesitate, the louder doubt becomes, but action silences fear. Even the wrong move forward is better than standing still in hesitation. When you act, even imperfectly, you build progress. And progress, no matter how small, has the power to transform your life. The truth is, clarity is not something gifted to the passive, it's revealed to the bold. It waits on the other side of commitment. It's found in motion, in courage, and in choosing to do the hard thing before you feel ready. So don't wait to know everything. Start with what you know and let the rest unfold. The future you're dreaming of is not built during your best days. It's shaped in those quiet, unseen moments when you don't feel like showing up, but you do anyway. When you push through resistance instead of giving in to it, you create transformation. Most people believe that greatness is born from grand inspiration, but the truth is, it's born from consistency, especially when it's inconvenient. The most defining moments in your life are often the ones where nobody's watching, where no one is applauding, and where your only motivation is your decision to not give up. The temptation to quit will always be strongest right before something powerful begins to shift. That resistance you feel, that urge to rest, delay, or scroll away your time, is not a sign to stop. It's a test. It's life asking how badly you want it. It's a mirror reflecting back your commitment. Those small decisions, like getting out of bed when it's easier to hit snooze, or staying focused when your mind wants escape, those are the moments that build mental toughness. They don't feel extraordinary when they happen, but their impact compounds in ways you can't measure in the moment. Growth never feels comfortable while it's happening. That's why so many people plateau. They wait for motivation, and when it doesn't show up, they pull back. But the truth is, some of the most important work you'll ever do will happen on days when you feel completely unmotivated. That's when real character is forged. That's when you choose to be driven by purpose, not emotion. Every time you act when you don't feel like it, you separate yourself from the average. You train your mind to obey your vision, not your mood. You learn to lead yourself. That's what turns effort into excellence. That's what transforms potential into legacy. It's not about being the most talented or the most energized. It's about being the most committed, especially when it's hard. Your future doesn't need perfect conditions. It needs you to show up. It needs you to choose progress when comfort calls. It needs you to stop negotiating with your limitations and start living like your goals actually matter. Because every excuse you silence becomes a brick in the foundation of the life you're trying to build, and it's built one hard, unglamorous, powerful choice at a time. Waiting to feel ready is the fastest way to stay stuck. Readiness is a myth we tell ourselves to delay responsibility. The truth is, no one ever really feels ready for the big leap, the hard choice, or the necessary change. Readiness doesn't come before action. It's the result of action. You gain confidence by doing, not by waiting. Every person who's accomplished something meaningful has done it in spite of fear, not in the absence of it. They didn't wait to feel certain. They acted while their hands were shaking and their voices were trembling. And that's what made them strong. Perfectionism often hides behind the excuse of not being ready. We convince ourselves that if we wait just a little longer, we'll somehow know more, feel more confident, or have all the right answers. But what happens is we overthink, overanalyze, and overdelay until the moment is gone. Success doesn't come from overpreparation. It comes from courage. You don't need perfect timing, you need a decision. You don't need more information, you need commitment. Readiness grows in the doing. The longer you delay, the more fear takes root. The more you hesitate, the louder the inner critic becomes. But when you act, especially when you act before you feel ready, you take back control. You show your mind that fear doesn't make your choices. You break the cycle of hesitation, and in doing so, you build momentum. That momentum becomes the clarity you thought you had to wait for. It becomes the confidence you thought you needed first. Most people never start because they think starting is the final decision, but it's not. Starting is just permission to explore, to grow, to figure it out as you go. No great journey begins with total certainty. Every successful person has walked into the unknown with limited clarity and full courage. They trusted the process more than their feelings. The reality is, you'll never feel completely ready. That's why you start anyway. Because action is what awakens your potential. Action is what silences doubt. And action is what transforms hesitation into confidence. You don't need the perfect plan. You need to move. You need to begin while it's messy. You need to trust that every step forward, no matter how uncertain, moves you closer to the person you're becoming. Big goals are intimidating not because they're impossible, but because we try to accomplish them all at once. The pressure to make massive leaps often keeps people from moving at all. But real progress isn't built in a burst of energy. It's built in steady, consistent action. Small wins are the foundation of all great achievements. Every habit you form, every task you complete, every focused moment you choose over distraction, it all counts. The power of small wins lies in their ability to build momentum. And momentum, once started, becomes incredibly hard to stop. You don't need to change your whole life in a day. You just need to do the next right thing. You just need to show up for one more hour, finish one more task, choose one more disciplined decision. That's how greatness is built, not by sudden explosions of effort, but by the steady beat of someone who refuses to quit. Every small win tells your brain a new story. It tells you that progress is happening, that you are capable, that you are no longer stuck. And the more you repeat that story through action, the more you believe it. The mistake many people make is waiting for a breakthrough. They hope for a moment when everything becomes easier, when the work doesn't feel so heavy. But breakthroughs don't come from waiting. They come from accumulation, from stacking tiny wins until the weight of your consistency breaks through the resistance that once held you back. That's what makes you unstoppable. Because when you start to see results from your discipline, even small ones, it creates a new fuel. That fuel is confidence. That fuel is belief. Most days won't feel extraordinary. Most victories won't make headlines. But those are the days that count the most. When you choose progress over perfection, discipline over comfort, intention over distraction, you set yourself apart. You shift from dreaming to building. You stop hoping and start becoming. And as those small wins stack day by day, week by week, they begin to reshape how you think about yourself. You stop identifying with your doubts and start identifying with your discipline. You start living like the kind of person who gets things done, not just when it's convenient, but because it's who you've become. And that quiet, consistent momentum becomes your greatest weapon. Most people try to push themselves through difficult seasons with willpower alone, but willpower fades. Discipline weakens when it has no deeper root. What pulls you through resistance isn't force, it's purpose. Purpose gives pain meaning. It makes the hard work worth it. When you connect your daily actions to something greater than just the task itself, everything changes. Waking up early becomes less about productivity and more about living intentionally. Finishing that project isn't just about checking a box. It becomes a reflection of the future you're trying to build. Purpose turns ordinary actions into sacred commitments. When you're only driven by goals, you can burn out. Goals are useful, but they're not enough. Purpose is what keeps you grounded when motivation disappears. It gives you the emotional leverage to keep going even when the road gets dark. It's not just about what you're doing, it's about why you're doing it. If your why is shallow, your discipline will be short-lived. But if your why is deeply rooted in values, service, faith, legacy, or impact, it becomes nearly impossible to quit. Resistance will show up. Distractions will tempt you. Doubt will whisper louder on the days you feel tired and unseen. But when your actions are connected to purpose, you stop needing perfect conditions. You stop waiting for permission. You stop measuring your progress only by results and start honoring the process itself. You become someone who endures with vision instead of someone who quits from frustration. The work may still be hard, but it no longer feels meaningless. Purpose reminds you who you're becoming. It gives weight to your decisions and urgency to your time. It helps you say no to things that don't align and yes to the things that do. It makes sacrifice feel like investment. It makes every small act of discipline part of a much larger mission. Without purpose, you'll chase short-term rewards and struggle to stay committed. But with purpose, you don't just stay committed. You grow stronger in the commitment. You're not just forcing yourself to get things done. You're becoming someone who refuses to let comfort win. Someone who chooses legacy over laziness. Someone who works through resistance because the mission matters. That kind of purpose doesn't just move you. It transforms you. You will never rise by accident. You will rise because you chose to take action when it was hard, because you moved when others hesitated, because you refused to let comfort be your cage. It's not about forcing yourself in a harsh or punishing way. It's about leading yourself with intention, even when the voice of doubt gets loud. You don't need more time. You need more focus. You don't need more motivation. You need a reason. And once you anchor yourself in discipline, in small, consistent wins, in purpose that pulls you forward, you become unstoppable. The life you want isn't waiting at the end of perfect circumstances. It's waiting at the other side of the next decision you make today. You don't have to feel ready. You just have to begin. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this message sparked something inside you, if it reminded you of the power already within you, then don't let it stop here. Like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe so you never miss a moment of truth, clarity, and growth. Remember, your future is built one bold step at a time, and that step starts now.